Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed your lunch. Nice break from being in meetings all day. I'm Deanne Rodenberg. You know me as being the DSOIS. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, born and raised in Alabama, specifically North Alabama, so I'm a Southerner. Rocket City, Huntsville, Alabama. Worked for NASA, 35 years, so ready to hang it up and go home for a while. Favorite things are boating, of course, Alabama Roll Tide, Christmas Tide, football. Born and raised in Alabama, so I can't help but be for Alabama football. What can I say? Family, of course, too. I've been auxiliaries for 25 years plus, so I've got a little bit of experience, and hopefully I can help y'all today to learn more about AUXDATA. So, is everybody up and ready to go? Okay. If you go to the main Coast Guard Auxiliary webpage, on the far left side, you'll see AUXDATA2. You'll see it on the screen up there. If you'll click on that, then it brings you up to the next page. Then under there it says AUXDATA2, navigate to. If you'll click on that link, it takes you to the actual Coast Guard Auxiliary AUXDATA webpage, beginning page. Your user ID, username is your member number at uscg.aux. As you can see, mine defaulted that, so I use it all the time. Password is something that you have selected, so I'll go ahead, if you'll go ahead and log in if you can. Once you log in, well, get my password right. This is your next screen. This is where you get that authorization code that you can log in to AUXDATA with. So if you click on the next, now you should have set it up with your email to send you the passcode to your email. Should be coming in on your email account or your phone or both. Mine actually comes in on my phone and my email, so I'm going to look at my phone, find out what my code is. Once you get that, you can put it in that little box there. And then click next. And this is what you should come up with once you put that code in. Is everybody there? Okay, we've got a problem, Anthony.
If you're not there, raise your hand, because I can't. All right, I can't do two people at once.
Harold's on the bottom end down there. Randy, you want to take care of Harold? Okay. Let people catch up for a second. Okay. This is what pops up once you get into the system. This is your main AUXDATA2 web page. Shows you with the inflatable boats and the Coast Guardman. You should have welcome to your name there. Well, the thing I want to show you to begin with here on the right-hand side are the quick links. You know, we all have access to the AUX directory. So if you'll click on that, it takes you to the AUX directory without having to go out and come back in. Okay. On that main web page, over on the right-hand side, one of the quick links says AUX directory, AUX officer. If you click on that, that takes you to the AUX directory. You don't have to log out of AUXDATA to go back into it and come back in. Also shows you the manuals there, and some of the LMS, Learning Management System, and National Test Center. Okay, now, everybody ready to go? Okay. You see the tabs up at the top, the home, members, unit, activity logs, member activities, facilities, facility inspections, and the more. We're going to start with home, which is that main page there. Then if you'll click on the members tab, should either bring up your own personal information for your flotilla or division. And I'm going to click on my name. With my access, I have access to the entire district, so mine will have a bit more than what you do. But to click on my own personal information, as you'll see, it shows my member status. I'm a BQ. That changes from AP to IQ to BQ to OXDATA. That's changed from DIROS. But now to get that changed, you need to let me know once you have completed voting safety courses or your OXDATA. Then I can let DIROS know, Rhonda, Laura know that needs to be changed. Member status date shows you when you were actually enrolled. It shows what unit I'm from, my unit name, the number. What my occupation is. How many years I've been in the auxiliary. I am an activity approver since I'm DSOIS. Okay. If you scroll down towards the middle of the page, you see your contact information. Please be sure that is correct. If it's not, let your FSOIS or SOIS know. Specifically the SOIS, they can change it, or even myself. I will change it for you. But that's pertinent to your information that you get from the auxiliary on a daily basis or monthly basis, whichever. Shows my email, my address is there. My emergency contact, which is something that Patrick's going to be using next time. Shows the digital information. It says I'm a vessel examiner. I'm a radio inspector, because I have to have passed TCO. I get flotilla email, division email, and district email. Of course, national email also. Now, does that make sense? Everybody's information correct? Look at it.
Conscious point.
Randy, he's got a question. Everybody else okay? Okay. Now we're going to go to the next tab over. Under my own personal information, it says related. So click on that. If you'll scroll down a little bit for member activities, those are your mission activities you've done so far. So these are the ones that I've done so far this year, last year and this year. It's basically a comprehensive history of your member activities. All the things come off your 70-30 or 70-29, either one, any of the others. You see mine's been there a while. It just shows you all the various ones that I've done. So I'm going to do a backup on the screen, one backup. Go back to related again. Now, a lot of people always ask about your competence that you've passed or your qualifications. If you'll look towards the middle of the screen again on that, it says competencies. If you'll click on the view all down the bottom right-hand corner of that section, that paragraph, that shows you all of your competencies that you have, everything you're qualified in. And so you're certified or RYR. So I'm RYR for CPR. I've not taken it in a few years. But if you've not done vessel exams or boat crew, even your core training, if you look there, it says I'm certified. So I have taken my core training, the ones I need to take every 5 years, so I'm okay with mine.
Page 31 where it shows your core training?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm trying to catch up with you. What is your page you're on where you can actually see your core training?
Anthony's coming to help you. That's why I have ADSOs. And I'll back up for a second. I did not introduce the ADSO. This is Anthony Waters. He's my ADSO from DCAP East. He just joined me this year, and happy to have him on board. And also the other instructor today is Dr. Wilkinson, DSOMT, which you know him. He's been around like I have for a while. So all three of us are going to be presenting to you this afternoon. So if y'all have any questions, any comments, concerns, let us know. We're more than happy to help you. Okay, is everybody ready to go? Okay, back to that member task, related tab. The next thing, paragraph under that is member tasks. It shows you when I took the initial civil rights awareness, 2020. That was my update for that one. Risk management refresher. So it shows it taken 8/1/20. Workshop. Bloodborne pathogens. Those are just a few of those. Then if I click on the view all, it shows me everything that I've taken as far as I've done my training since I've been in the auxiliary. Anybody have any questions?
You're going way too fast for us.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where are you, Bob?
I'm at the front page. I can't even go.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going too fast for people, so let me back up. Okay, is everybody kind of caught up now? Duncan, I think she may have, do you have a question? Okay.
Where's Anthony? I need somebody who uses Chrome.
Lots of faces looking at computers. Okay, let's go on. Got everybody ready to go? Okay. Again, going back to the member task. If you'll look at that, that shows you when you've taken some of your courses. When they need to be taken again. This is your member history since you've been in the auxiliary. Okay. The next thing down is awards. This is good for you to check for your ribbon rack, for things that you've earned. This is, I say it's a comprehensive history of what you've done in the auxiliary since you've been a member. If you'll look at mine, I've done letter of commendation several times. I've gotten that. Service award. It also shows me down at the bottom that I'm an instructor and a program visitor. So I get both those ribbons. Okay, anybody have questions? Need help?
If the awards don't show everything, should we let you know, or if the awards don't show everything,
Randy? This lady over here needs some help.
if the awards don't show anything, don't show everything, like my
You're gonna
operation.
try helping Debbie? Careful. When you're at home and do this on your own, we don't home area network, just go into AUXDATA and look around. See what's out there. Doesn't do any harm. See, it shows what your member things are, what you've got your awards for. The next paragraph down is member offices. This shows you the various offices that I've held. Now, this is also where I go as the division officer and district officer to change our officers for each division or each flotilla division, flotilla district. Okay, we ready to go on? Everybody kinda caught up?
Is the mic off? I don't, I was listening to you a little while ago about, the core courses and how it's checked off if you've completed them and the motor safety course and stuff. In mine, nothing's been checked off.
Okay,
The
have you
different-
sent the form, attestation form to your IS officer?
I
Let them
didn't
know.
know because I took these core courses and the motor
Yeah, they
safety
need to
course
put-
last year
Okay,
in May.
okay. Let me show you something real quick while you're standing here. Go back to the. Okay, so look on my member page. See where it says core courses?
Yeah, none of my stuff has been checked.
Okay. What division are you in?
I am in, 082, 0709,
Oh, 7.
Mon
You're in,
Valley, Anthony Water.
yeah, you're in Anthony's, okay. Send him an email that you have completed your courses,
Okay,
and he'll go in there and check these boxes,
okay,
BQC2
mm-hmm,
and a core.
okay,
He needs to check those. If he
Okay.
can't do it, let me know and I'll do them.
okay. Yeah,
that
because he
should-
just told me, he said, you can't do it, you gotta turn it in,
Yeah.
and once you go do your courses. I said, well, I did them back in May of 2020.
But see, unless these two things are checked, and let me show you something else too, while we're there. Ah, look at that. See, also show that you have taken the courses, so he can verify.
Yeah, see, I don't have any of that on mine.
See, if he'll verify that you've taken these, if you look here, bloodborne pathogens, workshops, BQC2, BQA approval. Come on, don't act up on me. See, I've taken the core values.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like I said, I've taken all the core courses, I've taken the ones you have to take every year, and I took the one you have to take every 5 years. Like I said, I did that back in May of 2020.
Let Anthony know, and he said if he can't do it, tell him to contact me.
Okay,
But those two boxes have to be checked so they can show you taking those courses.
right.
People don't understand that.
Oh, yeah, I understand, I just didn't know how to get there, how to
Yeah.
get to where those.
Yeah,
Okay, Anthony, I'm gonna send you an email telling you I took those courses and when I took them, and then you get to go in.
no, the
and
core
check
courses
the
in it,
boxes.
says BQC2. Did you see this?
What am I seeing?
Which shows the BQC2, the core.
Uh-huh.
Those two have to be checked,
Mhm.
so she can get credit for it.
Okay.
I think you as an SOIS can do that. If not, let me know.
I will, yeah, okay.
But those have to be checked so she can get credit for
So
it.
I'll send you an email with the dates and stuff that I did. Hey, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Everybody ready? I know it's kind of a drag time, but I'll say it's very complicated sometimes.
It's good to have all the answers.
You having problems? Okay. Let's go forward. I said I showed you the core training that you've taken. Here's the member offices that I've held. Now, it shows I have 4 facilities, which 2 of these are archive, which are radio facilities. But 2 of them are my boats. And they will show you, if you click on one of them, it says active, or if you have facilities, I'll show you mine. That gives you all the information that we put in, or Dyrus used to put in, for your facility inspection. This is what we take from AUXDATA to show your facility inspection. It shows the last time it was inspected was 3/28/20, which is my big boat. So it's due for an inspection right now. It's under the, related. It's under the related, and then go scroll down to facilities.
Okay, yeah.
Then it shows facilities if you're a facility owner. Okay, where are we? Everybody ready to go? I know there's a little bit of drag time with this. Everybody's trying to catch up, look at stuff.
On the, member task, if you have completed the core courses, are they not supposed to be checked?
Okay.
On the member task, on the core courses, are they not supposed to be checked also?
They're supposed to be listed out there. I was telling the lady behind you,
Yeah.
there's two boxes has to be checked on the very front page of your member status. If those are not checked, you don't get credit for it, so they may not have been checked.
Okay.
So, let me know and I can do it for you.
Okay, yeah, mine's not there. I'm with you, not there either. Let's see if I can do it. It's on the core courses that we have to take.
Okay. Anybody have questions so far? Need help? More help? Okay. Okay. Did everybody look at your competencies, your courses, make sure they're all okay? Not REY or anything that you're not supposed to be? Now, this is kind of important. I want everybody to look at this one real quick. On the More tab, you'll see reports. Scratch that. Hang on just a second. Let me back up.
Yeah, see, I'm the same as you, it's showing me not having done it yet, but I didn't back it for me.
Oh, went out too far.
Thank you.
Okay. If you look on the tab that says More and do the down arrow button on that one, and then go to Libraries. I'm sorry, go to Reports first, sorry, my fault. Scratch that, it's Files, not Reports, I always get confused, it's my fault. If you go on the More and then go do Files, then on the left-hand side, you'll see what's called Libraries.
Yep.
That is your how-to library for logging in. So it says USCG Auxiliary Guides. This is the old how-to PowerPoints that we used to have with the old system. If you look at that user guide for facility management, which is this jewel. This is your guide for putting in a facility inspection. You follow it, each line, it works like a charm. And once you get through with it to get an approval, or send a message to OTO Tracy, and he'll approve it and have it ready to go for the coming year. But these are the ones you can have questions, you can go find that one, or contact your SOIS, FSOIS, or me.
He's saying if I have
Now, that's kind of a brief overview. What questions, concerns? Confusion? Everybody's quiet. Okay. If you don't have any questions or comments on that one, I'm going to turn it over to Anthony. He's going to show you how to do a data entry. So we're going to take about a 2-minute break here and let Anthony switch computers. Careful, careful, careful.
On the member task tab, for the specialty or the core courses that we have to take every 5 years, see, I completed them here, but this task is not completed. That's your main page. Your data information. They're not checked.
Who else is having problems with this side? What are we trying to do?
I think I'm caught out right now.
I don't know how many idea where she is.
Well, I've done it. Do something.
Is it EY, Debbie? GUFFEY?
I don't know, I've had my nose in the screen. Well, that's not what she has on the screen. Yeah. She's got a log on it. She's got the log on screen right now.
You should know this.
You ready to come yours?
Yup.
Okay, Anthony's going to take over and show you how to do a data entry.
Yep. Kick you out of the seat.
You need this.
I will. Just, that's there. Move.
Okay. Everybody really pay attention because there may be something else at the very end of the course you're going to need.
You tell them there's a test? All right. Did Deanne mention there is a test at the end, right? Because hopefully, if not, surprise! Yeah, it's definitely open book, yep. All right, so let me get myself logged into this thing here. So this is the data entry is the fun part of AUXDATA. So for the longest time, your SOISs and FSOISs had to do all this manually. Now we're passing that burden, that activity onto you to do, and then the SOs and the FSOs will then go in and verify your information is correct. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes we're nice and we tell you that you did it wrong. Sometimes we're not so nice. Sometimes we just fix it for you. All right, so let me get logged in. All right. Authenticator, okay, 689. So one thing, in case Deanne didn't mention it, when you're typing in the time-based token code, right, either from your email or from the authenticator application, that is a one-time use. So don't save it because it's not going to work a second time. Now, in theory, it could work a second time. Yes.
Click on new.
I don't know. I've never done it before. So.
What you want?
Oh, so I don't know if you want to see my Google search history. So, so let me unplug this just in case something unsavory comes up. I'm not saying it's going to, but I go to YouTube and I get some weird stuff that comes up, especially when it's late at night. All right, so what am I doing? Salesforce Authenticator. All right, let me see. All right. Oh, so, oops, I dropped the cord. So when you authenticate, you have two options, right? Either email or application. I saw some people choosing that option earlier today. Okay, get this here. All right. So we'll do remedial training on how to do that after I figure out how to do it. All right. So for
Download the app onto your phone.
yes. So with Salesforce, there is a number of apps you can use. You can use Microsoft Authenticator, you can use Google Authenticator, you can use Salesforce's Authenticator. What's the other one? Duo works. And then there's the one from another one called Symantec VIP. So there's a whole bunch of them. When you choose the second factor authenticator option, it will let you choose one. And usually all you got to do is you start your app, and then you go, you tell your Salesforce here to do it, and then it'll give you a QR code. You scan that QR code, and then it gives you a number you have to type in twice or once, depending on the authenticator. Then you're good. So the fun part here is how to enter data, and this is not difficult, but it's strange is the best way to describe it. So for anyone for myself and Deanne and I think Anita and those that have done the old system, when we moved to this new system, it was like, this is horrible because nothing's where we wanted it to be. But after you use it for a bit, it becomes more intuitive. And the other thing that happens is the company that Coast Guard is using to help maintain this will make modifications and changes based on feedback from the membership. So if you see something you don't like or something you want to see different or a feature enhancement, send it up through your chain of leadership, through your FSOs and SOISs. All right. So on my screen, so when you first get on here, all right, we've all did this. We got to the home screen. All right, you log in here, all the quick links. To do data entry, you click on Activity Logs. Now, for me, as you can see, because I will approve things as an IS, the last person thing I approved was actually Pat Riley's, who is in front row here. But for you, when you first go to this screen, you will see something completely and totally different. So you won't see what I have on the screen. You'll have whatever the last things you viewed were. So we're going to enter a new task here. And it's real simple, kind of. So the first thing you do is at the top here, you'll see a button that says New, right? So you click on New. Yeah, it's the one that says New. Okay. Now, yeah, it's at the top. Yeah, top right, I guess. So the first thing you're going to be presented with is a record type. Almost always, you're going to use unit individual. There are exceptions, but almost always you will use this one. Then you hit next. Then you'll get this new activity window. Now, If you're entering this task or this mission code just for you, you can ignore this, the search unit on everything pretty much on the left side. Yeah, the left side. So review status, you can leave us open initially. An operations code, usually you leave that blank as well. Now, if you notice, all this stuff I'm telling you to leave blank, there's not a little red star next to it, right? That means that it's optional. The red star means it's required. That means you have to put it in. If you don't put it in, it won't let you move forward. So your mission codes, you can click on there, you can do the drop down, and you're gonna see every mission code the Coast Guard Auxiliary has. I believe we handed out a mission code and description sheet earlier, right? You should all have that. So take a look at that before you just decide to choose a mission because it sounds like something you wanted to do or something you did. So everyone here is an elected leader, right, or elected or appointed. So most of your time at meetings is going to be under mission code 99A. Everyone should know that. If you don't know that, now you do. If you're taking a class, normally your mission time is going to be under 99D, which is, you can say that from the sheet here. I just know that because I've done this for a long time. So we're going to pretend like we're going to do a 99A, and I'm going to do one from the other day. So you put that in. Mission start time. Now, this is an important concept to understand. You want to type the time in, or the date in that you actually did the mission, right? So there was an exception. If you want to put in an aggregate time for all your leadership hours for the month, you can, but it should not exceed 24 hours. Yeah. If it exceeds 24 hours and you put in at the last day of the month, like we put on 3/31 and I had 39 hours of administrator time, it's going to bleed over to the following month. Now, my own personal suggestion to you, just because it's my suggestion, you don't have to do it, is I just put stuff in as it happens, right? If I did something last week, I'll usually go in at the end of the day or while I'm working. This has been recorded. Just kidding, work. But you could put that in whenever you don't have to put it in that day. You could do it, the next day, 3 days later, end of the month. You can go back and put all that data in. So we're going to just do one here. I'll do Wednesday. And then the time is important too. So choose the time you started it. All right? So if you started at 3 o'clock in the morning, like I may or may not have actually done, put that time down.
Anthony,
Yes.
when you're doing this, if you don't aggregate, the IS is going to get 30 documents from every person.
That is correct. So in my division, I have said that is fine. I don't mind. If your SO or FSOIS does not want that, you can do that, but just don't make sure it's not over 24 hours. Yeah, that's the key.
Do make sure you give space at the end of it. So
Yes.
it's pop over the next month.
Yep, that's correct. I kind of like doing it real time because I can go back later and look, what was I doing on, 4/7 at 3 a.m.? Oh, I was working 3 p.m. But I mean, whatever that case is. A question down there.
Since it says under information that start time only really matters for patrols, can you leave the start time just at any time?
You can. The reason why I say put the actual time is when this goes to approval to your SO or FSOIS, whomever approves your hours, if you have all your stuff starting at 12 and you did 3 things that day, it gets a little muddy onto, you started, a public affairs thing at noon, you started a leadership thing at noon, and you started what else can you start? You're running a paper or something for publications, or you did a vessel safety check, whatever the case may be. If they're all at the same time, they look at the hours. If you have 3 hours, 3 hours, and 7 hours, well, what is the actual real one? So it just helps distinguish what the event is, and it makes it easier to verify it later. Yes. Yeah, so And I think time is important just because it also lets you see later, stuff that you're doing, if you care to know that stuff. And I don't know what they do with this data, some of this data up in Coast Guard headquarters, but maybe they're looking to see who's doing missions at 3 a.m. Maybe they're not, but, but the key thing is, one sec, the key thing is to make sure when you do the next part here about the duration, you put the actual right time or the actual number of hours. Yes, Bob.
Most of us were here yesterday. Actually do look a report right now
Yep.
for yesterday.
So if you're under orders, your time that you left your house to the time you get back to your house is what you put in. So if you left yesterday at, oh, this is different. Must have changed. See, things change all the time in the auxiliary, like schedules and reporting things, and I'll let Duncan answer that one.
The travel time goes in as number of hours. It's on your form. When we get through here, you're gonna put in a 99G. I'm gonna run you through.
Use the microphone so we can hear you.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it comes off.
Your key point is your travel time is the time that you're in travel. Okay. Your leadership time on the 99D is when you're actually doing Coast Guard auxiliary stuff. So the time you left your house till you got here and signed in is a 99A task. And you put the travel time there and you put the gas cost. When you go home, you do the reverse. So today's time is a 99A time, but there's no travel time and there's no cost. When you go to the meals tonight, it's a leadership kind of thing. You can put them all together and add them up. The key thing is the number of hours you do leadership have nothing to do with the miles traveled and the cost. So you want to, the other alternative is, where's the block?
Which block are you talking about? This block here.
Which says summary of activities,
Oh, yeah.
put consolidated. The word consolidated, so that the person who's reviewing it knows that you've added the hours together for 3 days, 4 days, 5 months, consolidated for the last 4 days. The 99 codes are the only codes that allow you to put in greater than 24 hours. All the other codes are a 24-hour business, and you put in 32 hours, it'll back out.
All right, all done. All right. Duncan will be back later on this afternoon for reporting. Yeah. So duration is how long you did it, right? And make sure it's an accurate number. If you notice, there's also a little explanation point above a lot of these. They will give you information and hints on how to do certain things. So as it says I'm sharing on my screen, you can probably see on yours. If you want to put in, you did 40 minutes of time, it's 0.67 hours, or 0.67. As Duncan mentioned, for summary, you want to put in what you are doing for the reasons I kind of mentioned before, so whomever's reviewing knows what that is for. When it's blank and there's like something wrong, like if you put in mission code, if you're up here and you're going through and you put in 06A because you're going too fast. And then if you put down in the description or the summary, you put in, attendant flotilla meeting or whatever you put in. Well, a good IS officer should realize that's wrong and then fix and put it in correctly. A bad one will just hit the approve button. So there's that. So I'm going to change this to something here. I'm going to leave it like that. I'll say 1 hour summary, just test data. All right. Now, I'll talk about this clarification comment box in a moment here. All right, moving down. All right, so non-reimbursed mileage and expenses is exactly what it sounds like. If you're not being reimbursed, you put that information in, the number of miles and the cost. Now, there's some other boxes that come up next. You got vessel exam details, program visits, aids in navigation, public education, public affairs details. We'll talk about all of them in just one moment. And then your FSO activity approvers. Some of these will pre-populate once you hit the save button. So you did that. We hit save and new. All right, so now I did this the way I should not have done it to show you what happens if you click save and new. If you click save and new, it will save it. It will leave the review status as open, and it will then open up a new opportunity for you to enter in another mission code. Now, the reason why it's important to know that is if you leave it as open, most of your ISs will not see it. So it will sit there forever. Now, what do you do if you happen to do that? Well, it's easy. You go to activity logs again, and now for me, I got all this other stuff on here, but you're gonna see over on at least the screen I'm sharing, over on the right-hand side, there'll be review status, and you're gonna see open, right? So if you see that, then all you gotta do is over on the left side, click on the little hyperlink for the activity record number, and that will bring up the record you just had open. Then you just click on a little pencil, and you can mark it as, where's it at here? Approval requested. Now, you think you're done. You're not done because you have to go over to the third tab that says Add Member. So under there, you need to pick you or whomever you're doing the entry for. So in my case, I'm going to pick me because I'm doing it for me. Now, if you don't put that in there, I'm going to leave it blank just so you can see what happens. You don't put anything in there. You change it to approval requested. You hit save, and it didn't give me an error message. So if you don't put something there, it should give you an error message. There's nothing in there, but it didn't do it for me this time, so I don't know why. But so we'll go back to add member. So for when you're searching for a person, you can type in your last name, right, and that will pop up, or you can type in your member number. Either way. Then you have to select it, hit the blue Add Member button here at the bottom. Now this is the other thing you have to do. Under position, you need to change that to whatever the position was. It will default to none. When it defaults to none and you try to update it, then you get an error message that says you have to either make it lead, non-lead, or trainee. If you're doing a 99 code, you will always be a lead. Well, you'll almost always be a lead. Yeah, I think if you're in AP, you're still a trainee. I think is how that works. It's been a while since I had to do that, but if you try to put in something you can't do, it's going to tell you can't do it. So I'm a lead in this. I hit update. Updates. Now, it's updated, approval's been requested. Your SO or FSOIS will get an email that says, well, I will get an email to myself that says Anthony Waters has put in hours, so on and so forth. And then at that point, the FSO or the SO will go in and then review your entry and then approve it, or if you messed up, they will either fix it if they know what to fix it to say, or they will change the status to needs clarification. Now you'll get an approval back that says, whomever says needs clarification, and then the IS will enter into clarification comment section what they need clarified. Or they'll just, they'll call you, or they'll just somehow get a hold of you and say, hey, Chris, you did 99 hours on, doing a vessel safety check. What kind of boat was this? Really you only meant, 1 hour. Sometimes you fat fingered something. And those things happen, right? I mean, we all do it. We all make mistakes putting stuff in. So once that's all approved, then your IS person will come in here and mark it as approved. And you'll get another email say it's approved. It'll all be recorded. All happy-go-lucky fun, right? So that's the easy one, the 99 codes. Now, for anyone who's a vessel safety examiner or a program visitor, most people that are one or the other, not always, but it's usually how it works. Same idea. You would come in under mission code. You would choose for vessels or for program visit. You choose 11, right? I'm going to do that. Maybe if I can find it. All right. So I choose that. Then same deal. You put in where the date, the time, the duration, and then down under program visits, you put in the number of visits and the business name, right? The one thing you cannot do, which people have tried, is a lot of times when you do program visits, you also do vessel safety checks. Not always, but sometimes. You cannot put in program visits and vessel exams on the same mission because they're different missions. So you can't do that. And I don't honestly know if the system will let me do it, so I'm going to try. Yeah, so every mission, well, so you can combine the dealer visits into one because it lets you do that, but you can't do vessel safety checks and program visits on the same mission code because vessel safety checks are mission code 91 or 91A and 91H. So you can't combine them. So you have to do them separately. Same thing with other items on here. Sometimes it will let you enter things. That doesn't mean you should enter things. Sometimes it will tell you no. Sometimes it's like, well, why would someone do that? It's a separate mission code, right? But people still try, and it won't work. In that case, when it comes to the IS officers, they will see that, and they're like, pick up someone else. Bob went out and did, 10 program visits, and he did, 6 vessel safety checks, but which one's which on this mission code? Mission code, if he did 11, it's going to be 11, but then is this just data he typed in by accident, or does he need to do the 91H or 91A for the actual vessels? All right. Now, next one. Oh, and when if you're doing vessel safety checks, like or program visits where you have to mentor somebody, right? They have to have 5 supervised vessel safety checks, or what is it, 2 or 5 program visits? I don't remember. But whatever the program visit number is, 2 or 5, then when you do that, under the add member, that is where you enter those members there. So, like, let's say I'm doing this now, and I don't know who Alfred Leon Waters is, but he's going to be used as an example here. Sorry, Alfred, if you're watching. So you add him in, and you hit add member, and then at the bottom you're going to see, the new person added, and it's going to say none. Now, I don't know if Alfred is a vessel safety examiner or not. I'm going to pretend like he isn't. And then what you need to do is you need to change it to say, to trainee. And they'll get the trainee credit for doing the vessels, or the program visits or vessel safety checks. Now, because I don't want to give Alfred credit for stuff, because I'm not giving myself credit for stuff, because I didn't do anything. But so that's the add member portion. Now, the other thing that's been kind of confusing, because it's changed a few times, and Duncan will keep me honest here if I say this incorrectly. Anyone who's an instructor, when you're instructing, you use a mission code, right? Usually 06A or 06B, or if you're doing public education, it's 1 to 14s. I think there's another one too, 22C, or I don't remember. Now, when you are the instructor, your time goes under 06A, 06B, 14A, whatever it is. If you have assistants that are non-leads, they will go under, those codes. Your students do not go underneath those codes. Your students will go under either 99B or 99D, depending on the type of training. Mostly it's 99D, but I guess there are certain cases where it could be B. Question in the back. So, if it's, so so the question was, why do you have to list the students? Now, I do need to clarify my statement there. So students, if they're people just taking a course, right, like the general public, they don't go on here at all, they don't. But if you have other auxiliaries that are in the class taking it, then they will go under the 99B or 99D code. So in the past, things have been recorded on the 06A or the 14As or the 14s for people that are taking courses for the course, and they've been getting trainee credit, but it's the wrong type of trainee credit, so it just goes there in 99B. It looks like you want to say something back there.
So I just want to clarify that. So if I'm teaching the BE workshop, I'm an
Yes.
instructor. So I'm going to be on the 06B.
Yes.
But all of my members that are in attendance, I'm going to have to do a separate entry for them.
Yes.
Under 99, because you have to do the workshop part of it for them to get credit.
Correct.
Done the workshop.
Yep.
Also have to add tasks.
Right, but
Yeah.
that's what I mean by the workshop.
Yeah.
Because you got to add the task.
Yep. So your members can, but it's better for the instructors to do it because they have the worksheet. They know who's in the class, right? And we all know that some members, and that's the chair, not me squeaking, some members don't enter time like they're supposed to. We all know who they are. I don't know if anyone's here, but some people just don't do it. So they won't get credit because they'll never do the entry. So that's one reason why.
And signing off on your entry that you entered, and how do I know that member did that work?
Correct. Yep, so that's the big thing that someplace, like Duncan, you told me there's like 44 trainee hours for instructors this year or something or more because they've been entered incorrectly. And these things happen, right? It's different than it was in the past from an IS perspective. Well, it's not different. We've done it wrong forever. Now we're doing it right. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention about data entry is, like I mentioned, choose the right mission codes, right? That's important. If you're not qualified to do something, it should tell you that you're not qualified to do it. But sometimes it will let you enter it as a trainee or a non-lead. Don't do that. Because again, your IS person should catch it, but we're all humans, sometimes we'll miss it, and then data gets reported incorrectly. Now here's a cool feature here about this system that I didn't mention I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to go back to my activity logs. Now, I showed you how to do a new one, right? Up here, new, you click on this button. You have to go through the unit individual, the aircraft, whatever, and then hit next. That's extra step, right? And then you have to go in and choose your name and your mission codes and all that. You don't have to do that. What you can do is pull one up, and I'll use this one here. Pull this one up, and then right here at the top, you'll see follow, delete, edit, and there's a button called clone. If you hit clone, it will clone that entry, and then all you have to do then is change the relevant information. So if you're doing, if you're not doing a summary or an aggregate or a consolidated entry and you want to put all your stuff in at one time, you can come in here, you can just say, okay, clone, come in, change the date and time and the duration, and then hit save, or actually change the review status to approve or request it, and then hit save, and then you're done. So you go through them real quick and get it and do things quicker, right? Again, you can do that. I do it all the time. Just make sure that you're not cloning someone else's record, because I have done that and by accident, and then thought I was cloning the right one. But for most everyone, if you're doing your own stuff, it's not a big deal. You can just clone it, and it makes it a little bit faster enter the data into the system.
So, Anthony,
Yes.
there's no reason to submit at 7:30, 7:30, or 7:38 to 9, whatever the department number is anymore.
So everything could be done in here. You don't have to use the 7029 online portal. You don't have to use the 7030 web forms or 7038 or whatever. You can use it. I tell my people not to use it because I don't want to type all this stuff in. But you can do it yourself. And the added advantage of you doing it yourself is that whenever your IS officers approve it, you'll get a message saying it's been approved, so you know that it's in there. Sometimes if you just send in the paper form, or literally a paper form, or use one of the web forms, it will come to an email like it normally does, and then we can enter it, but you may not know when we do it over there.
I want to clarify what he just said and make sure I have it right. Folks who are not currently conversant with this can still be submitting 7029s
Yes.
to our IS officer?
Yeah, they can, yeah.
Okay.
So as an IS, or actually, even almost anyone can enter data for anybody, right? And that's the other thing that happens. Like in my own division, in my own flotilla, I have people that still use the 7029, the online form, and I'll get the request in, and I'll put the data in because they're just they know that, and the whole thing about teaching old dogs new tricks. Not that they're dogs, but they just haven't quite embraced this new system yet. So it's going to take a little bit of time for people to get used to using it. I know sometimes some people are still using the paper form from way back, because that's what they're used to, and they haven't changed. I still get that. All right, but you can do, so everything you need to do, you can do in this system. It works really great. When Duncan comes up, he'll talk about how you can pull reports out of here to see what you've done. And Deanne mentioned it kind of briefly. Well, maybe it was a long time. I was running around helping people, so it may have been not briefly, but what I heard was briefly.
Anthony, you got
yes.
a lady in the back.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Correct. So the question was, if you're doing a class, and this example is an ABS class, and the lead instructor goes in and enters all this data into AUXDATA, will those, assistant instructors or non-leads, will they get credit? And the answer is yes, they will get credit for teaching the course.
They'll get full credit?
They will get whatever, either leader or non-lead, so however it goes into the system for it.
Because there's two,
Yes.
you have instructors there that don't teach, they get half credit. The teachers get credit.
Yes.
So if one of the people there, if you swap off, so
Yep.
someone teaches for an hour, 2 hours, and somebody else teaches for an hour.
Yep.
You'd have to submit two separate forms, one as a lead.
Correct. If you have different, well, he's not, may I understand the question? So
If you have an instructor that's sitting in the back of the classroom,
Yes.
waiting to teach the class, they sit through 2 hours of your instruction, they do not go on your form. They go on either the 99
Oh, okay,
or the
yes.
99 support.
I thought you meant someone who was helping instruct, not just sitting in the class. Okay, yeah. If they're helping, they're a non-lead. If they're just sitting in a room, they're just sitting in a room. Yeah. In that case, their hours go to 99B. But if they're helping instruct, then they're a non-lead. If they're just there, they're just there. I mean, it's like Randy back here who's just walking around. He's not really here. But he's here, What's that? So, all right, well, so let's use an example. All right? So if you're doing a class and it's 4 hours long, we'll say 4 hours, and you have 2 instructors, right? First instructor does 2 hours, second instructor does 2 hours. I mean, if you wanted to turn in for 2 hours, so each one got their 2 hours as lead, you can do that. It makes it a little bit simpler, but also gets confusing when it's time to verify. So it's kind of up to the leader how they put it in. But again, use your summary of activities button so that the verifying official, which is an IS officer, knows what you're trying to do.
So one thing is, you account for the hours that you're there, even though it's not your time to teach. How does that work? How does that work for you? Well, if you're there 4 hours,
So, okay, so the question was, if you're at a class, you're not teaching, how do you account for it? You can either do 99D or you can do 99E, or you can do 99A. All depends on why you're there, right? Most of the times, the way I look at it is if you're not doing a leadership activity, then it's usually under 99E. 99E is your catch-all for everything if you don't know, right? All right. Was there something else over there? I thought so. Yeah. So let's the way I've done this is, let's say I go to if you're an officer, do you only use 99A or do you use 99E? Right? Yeah.
99E is if you're an unappointed officer.
Yes. So
So, okay, so here's my question, Duncan.
yeah.
I am sitting at a PE class, public education APS class. I'm sitting there, but I'm not teaching. My hours should go under 99A, correct?
Yes, unless you want credit for being a student.
Okay, so what if I'm there, not an instructor, I'm just observing, but I'm not an officer, then you use 99E?
Correct.
Now, are you trying to get credit for the question is basically how you record time if you're in a class and you're just there, right? That's extended on there. Yeah. Well, depends, right? Because where I live, we have one person who comes to division meeting, right? And I always get them mixed up, but one is the SONS and one is the FSONS. So when they come to the division meeting as a FSO, two different people. When they come as the FSONS, they record their time as 99E because they're not a division officer, right? They are a flotilla officer, is how they've done it.
I believe once you're an officer, you're an officer.
Yes.
Regardless of the level that you go to class.
Yeah, I don't know, that's what I was told. but it's, so at the end of the day, when you submit stuff, just make sure you include what you're doing. That way, if there's any questions, someone can ask you. And as you can tell, even though we've all been doing this for a while, it's question. There's always interpretations, and Duncan's going to show me something. Yep.
Under a 99E,
I'm gonna look.
in parentheses,
I'm gonna look.
if you're not an elected or staff officer,
Yes.
it's 99D. It doesn't say what level.
Well, all right. So I think so again, it goes back to interpretation. Now, in all honesty, I don't know how the 99 codes are used, if they all roll up into one, or if they're actually
They do
looked
not
at.
roll up into one.
So we've always done, that's how we've done it. If that's wrong, then we'll change. But that's how things go. Yes.
Is it wrong if we have three instructors and we rotate through in a period of time? Is it wrong to give the instructors in waiting half credit for the time they spent
No.
in the class?
No,
So-
That is wrong.
that's wrong.
So the question is if there are a number of instructors in a class and they're not teaching, do they get credit for being in the class? And the answer is they do not get training credit. They do not get instructor credit. They only get,
Paid credit.
they get credit for being there under a 99B or E or whatever code you want to use, but they don't get a half credit for instructing.
But there is a half credit for instructors.
Correct. So the example for that would be like, I'm here doing this and Duncan's helping me, he would get half credit, right? Or if I was helping Deanne, I would get half credit for that. But as I'm actually doing this, I get full credit. I get
What you want to do in
get
that
my
remarks
hours.
section is you want to put down what you're doing so that the approving person can see that he and I shared a class. We both taught NAV rules as instructors, so it was shared in both the leads. It'll let you put two leads in.
Yeah, you can do that, yeah. All right. So I know there's a lot of stuff I've kind of thrown at you. I've been using the new system for a year or so now. Some this is the first time you're seeing it, some it's not the first time. Some are like, wow, you know, I've done it this way. And every time we do this, we always learn something, right? Some way to do things, some way to not do things. Some things we were doing a certain way that apparently isn't the right way, but it's all good. So are there any type of questions about any of this information? I'll tell you the best way to learn how to do it is to just go do it. And if you do it wrong, I know Anita's an IS and probably pretty good at it. Deanne is a DSO. You know, I've done IS for a while. So, and then in your respective flotillas or divisions, hopefully you have someone that understands. But if there's any questions, you can ask somebody, and we'll be happy to answer. But if there's not, and you don't do it, you don't get time for doing stuff. And when you don't put hours in, then I know some people are like, well, I'm not here to get awards, or I don't care if I get more you know, chest candy or more, you know, stuff to hang on the I love me wall. But you have to understand that the hours you put in don't just affect you, they affect the rest of the Coast Guard, right? When the NACO was here talking about all the hours that were put in, you know, they get that from the stuff that you put in and that we verify. So encourage your members to put time in. I mean, don't have them do it like by the second, but you know, I've always said if you get an auxiliary email and you're reading the email and you're taking an action, record that time. If you're driving from, you know, when I drive home, it's a 5-ish hour drive. I want someone to know I did that, you know, because I want that to be recorded. Even when I came to the DTRAINs as not unfunded order, so to speak, I still wanted to know that, you know, I drove here, I spent $197 on gas or whatever I spent to get here and $700 at our hotel room. So it's important you record this so people know that you're doing things, right? And so at the end of the day, right, your division gets awards, your flotillas get awards, you get awards, the district gets awards. I mean, that's always nice and good, but it really does help show the impact we have to the Coast Guard. So if there's no questions.
Take a 20 or 15-minute break.
Duncan would like me to take a 15-minute break, so come back we'll give you 16 minutes, so it'll be 3 p.m. So with that, I'll be here all weekend. All right, Patrick, you probably cut the feed for a bit. All right, excellent. See, this is the whole interpretation thing about elector or staff, right? We've always looked at it as if you were not